Hi, I'm Esty. I love old movies and I've studied film. I'm dedicating myself to learning all about my favorite shows. Come and join me and learn the plot line behind All About Eve. I can guarantee you'll want to rewatch the show after listening. All About Eve is a 1950 American film written and directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz and produced by Darrell F. Zanuck. The film is based on the novel of the same name by Mary Higgins Clark. It was also based on the 1946 short tale The Wisdom of Eve by Mary Orr. Spoiler alert! Let's talk about the plot of the film. Margot Channing is a well acclaimed but quote unquote aging Broadway performer, and Bette Davis portrays her in the film. Eve Harrington is played by Anne Baxter, who portrays a young, driven admirer who manages to infiltrate Channing's life, posing a threat to both her professional and personal connections in the process. The picture also stars Gary Merrill, Hugh Marlowe, Thelma Ritter, Marilyn Monroe in one of her early appearances, Gregory Ratoff, Barbara Bates, and Walter Hamden, in addition to George Sanders and Celeste Holm. The story revolves around Margot Channing, Bette Davis, who is one of the most famous people on Broadway. However, having recently reached 40, she is concerned about the impact that her growing age may have on her professional life. Immediately before a performance of Margot's most recent play, Aged in Wood, Margot's close friend Karen Richards, Celeste Holm, wife of the play's playwright Lloyd Richards, Hugh Marlowe, brings in an adoring fan, Eve Harrington, and Baxter, to meet Margot and her husband Lloyd. In Margot's dressing room, Eve informs the gathering of people there that she followed Margot's last theatrical tour to New York City after watching her play in San Francisco. Karen, Lloyd, and Margot's maid, Bertie Coonan, Thelma Ritter, all attend the performance, while telling the narrative of growing up impoverished in Wisconsin and losing her young husband Eddie in the South Pacific during World War II. Margot is moved, and she immediately befriends Eve, inviting her into her house and hiring her as her assistant, causing Bertie, who has an instinctual disdain for Eve, to feel betrayed and bemused. The film stars Anne Baxter as Eve Harrington, Margot Channing's ardent fan, secretary, and ultimately understudy. Eve rapidly manipulates her way into Margot Channing's life, serving as her secretary and enthusiastic fan, while also performing in one of the plays that plays a role in the storyline of the film. She appears to anticipate Margot's every need, even making a long distance phone call to Margot's lover, Bill Sampson, Gary Merrill, after Margot forgets Bill's birthday, which she does on her own time. Particularly after Eve is caught in the act of taking a bow in front of an empty theater while claiming to be dressed in Margot's costume for Aged in Wood. Margot grows increasingly skeptical and resentful towards her. Margot requests that her producer, Max Fabian, hire Eve in his office. Nevertheless, Eve manages to sneak into Margot's office and take on the role of Margot's understudy without Margot's awareness. Karen begins to feel terrible for Eve as Margot's annoyance increases. Karen plans for Margot to skip a performance of Aged in Wood in order to humiliate her. As a result, Eve will be forced to take Margot's place on stage. Even the city's theatrical critics, including the snarky Addison DeWitt, George Sanders, are persuaded to attend Eve's performance that evening, which turns out to be a triumph for her. Following the concert that evening, Eve attempts to woo Bill, but he rejects her attempts. As a substitute, Addison takes her under his wing and interviews her for a piece in which he criticizes Margot for failing to make room for fresh talents such as Eve. Margot and Karen are both enraged. When Margot and Bill are having dinner with the Richards in the cub room of the Stork Club, they announce their engagement. Following a brief conversation with Addison, Eve summons Karen to the ladies' room and after initially expressing regret, issues an ultimatum. Either she asks Lloyd to give Eve the part of Cora, the lead in Lloyd's next play, Footsteps on the Ceiling, or she will reveal Karen's role in Margot's mixed performance. Karen accepts the ultimatum and leaves. Margot surprises everyone by announcing that she does not desire to play Cora and would prefer to continue with Aged Wood instead. This occurs before Karen has a chance to speak with Lloyd. Eve has been cast in the role of Cora the night before the out-of-town premiere of Footsteps on the Ceiling at the Schubert Theater in New Haven. Eve informs Addison of her next plan. She intends to marry Lloyd, who she claims has come to her proclaiming his love for her and his willingness to leave Karen in order to marry her. Eve is overjoyed that Lloyd will compose wonderful plays that will include her. When Eve feels she can manipulate him as easily as she does everyone else, that he knows her backstory is a fabrication. Eve is enraged because Addison believes her. It was because of an affair with her boss that she was paid to leave town. Her true name is Gertrude, and she had never been married. After notifying Eve that she would not be marrying Lloyd or anyone else, Addison blackmails her, promising her that she will belong to him in exchange for his quiet on the matter. Many months later, Eve is a rising Broadway star on the verge of making it in Hollywood. At an awards dinner, she expresses her gratitude to Margot, Bill, Lloyd, and Karen in her customary effusion, while all four of them look at her with a chilly expression on their faces. Following a celebration in her honor, Eve walks home alone, where she comes face to face with a high school-aged devotee. The girl expresses her admiration for Eve and begins to insert herself into her life by volunteering to pack Eve's trunk for her trip to Hollywood. In the meantime, as Eve is sleeping in the other room, Addison arrives at the apartment door bearing Eve's prize, which she had forgotten about. He takes stock of the situation and immediately recognizes that Phoebe will play the role in Eve's life as Eve had played in so many others. Immediately following Addison's departure, Phoebe dons the beautiful gown that Eve wore to the dinner and poses in front of a multi-pane mirror, bowing and clutching the trophy. It was widely praised by viewers upon its debut and went on to garner an unprecedented 14 Academy Award nominations before winning 6 of them, including Best Picture. All About Eve is the only film in Academy history to get 4 nominations for Best Actress in the leading role, Davis and Baxter as Best Actress, Holman Ritter as Best Supporting Actress. It is widely regarded as one of the greatest films of all time. As always, thank you for tuning in.